Hello, and thank you for tuning into the frequency of a new awareness. Today, we're going to look at the creation story in Genesis chapter 1. When we read the account, we can clearly see that this is not to be taken literally. As a matter of fact, all teachings and all spiritual knowledge that is mentioned in the Bible is meant metaphorically. It has to be interpreted. Now, why is that the case? It is so because back 6,000 years ago, people didn't have the knowledge nor the understanding to understand what these enlightened masters tried to tell them. The only thing they knew basically was how to um, raise crop, get cattle, feed the cattle, and everything what has to do, kill each other, and that's basically all the knowledge they had. And they would have never understood what the masters were trying to tell them. So they had to speak in parables or in mystical explanations. And we have to interpret it now. But over the period of time and history, this understanding and knowledge was lost. Now, and what is really interesting and maybe good, because our modern day science is getting now a better understanding about how the universe operates, how it was created, about the creative source, God, and they get it not through the motivation to back up spiritual knowledge, they get it independently. So what we find is then even more credible if we can merge modern day science and spiritual ancient knowledge. So, very brief, we look at modern day science today. We know today that the smallest molecule or smallest tiny particle of the universe or is energy. Everything is formed of energy. And when you have pure energy, it is dark. It's looked like a black hole. So that's why when you look out into the universe, it is black, it is dark, because it's pure energy. That is what we know. Secondly, we know that this energy that is permeating also all things. We know that there's an energy that holds all matter together. Without this energy, no physical object or tangible thing could be created or kept into space. And we know also that this energy has intelligence. There is information in this energy. We know that after the Big Bang happened, this energy or this intelligence within this energy created order. So we know two things. The smallest particles is pure energy, and there is intelligence within this energy. We don't know exactly today what kind of intelligence, but maybe our ancient writings can help us with that. The second thing I want to emphasize here is that modern day science, we know that everything that is created in this world is created through vibration. That vibration forms energy into form. And this vibration holds everything together. For example, NASA and other people have microphones in the universe to listen if the aliens want to communicate with us. But what do they hear? They hear sound. They found out that every planet has a sound attached to them. And this sound creates a vibration, and this vibration takes energy and forms the planet. If the sound stops, the vibration stops, the planet ceases to exist. There would be no explosion, no big drama. It would just be, it would cease to be, it would just gone. So this is the second thing we know. Everything created in this world is created through energy and vibration. You are, or human bodies are held together by vibration. And in later videos we get to this because the vibration is then connected to our health and well-being. So now, can we go and read these ancient writings with our today's scientific knowledge and read what is meant and decipher the writings? Because the earth was not created in 6 days. And God didn't say, let there be light, and there was light. It was a process. It's all metaphorical. So let's dive into this and decipher the writings. So let's go and take a look. So here it says, in Genesis chapter 1, the account of creation. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was formless and empty, and darkness covered the deep waters, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the surface of the waters. Okay, now the second verse, it was that God created the earth before, heaven and earth before he created humans and everything else. That's a given. But now the second sentence, the earth was formless and empty. Now if an object is formless, it doesn't exist. Every object has to have a form in order to exist. So what he says here is, there was a time that the earth did not exist. But what was there all the way in the beginning, before the earth was formed? Well, he tells us, darkness covered the deep waters. What is meant with that? Now, we have to go back again. I'm emphasizing this over and over again because we have to understand the language 2,000, 5,000, 6,000 years ago was not the language we have today. It was much more primitive and limited. So they couldn't tell them that there was energy just hovering, and yeah, nobody would have understood that. So he had to use a substance that people understand. And even back then, people knew that water means life. Without water, there is no life. And you can take a microorganism and put it in water and it will multiply. Put it into the sand in the desert and it will die. So water is one of the basic substances of life itself. So water was life. And in order to create life, you need water. So, and deep, darkness. Here we see the knowing that energy is dark. If you look into pure energy, it is a dark place. So we can make the reference about that the darkness was pure energy. In the beginning was pure energy. You can substitute deep waters with energy. Read wider. And the Spirit of God was hovering over the surface of the waters. The Spirit of God. So there was, whatever you now think of the spirit of water to be, an intelligence, a consciousness, the consciousness of God, or whatever it is, it was in this energy. It was hovering off the waters. So in their times, 5,000 to 6,000 years ago, even today, we live in separation. So the concept that we are all connected and we are all one doesn't exist back then. If you wanted to explain a concept, it had to be separate from other things. So the Spirit of God and the energy is two separate things. But today we know that the energy has the Spirit of God within it. So the intelligence is in the energy. It's not separate. So we can see that the people, the enlightened masters, the prophets, thousands of years ago, had the same knowledge and understanding that we have today, but they couldn't express it the way we do today. So let's read on. Then in chapter 3 they read, "Then God said, 'Let there be light,' and there was light. And God saw that the light was good. Then he separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness night. And evening passed, and morning came, marking the first day." It's interesting, but the source of light was not created according to this account until day 4. So how can God create light and darkness if there was no source of light? So the physical light that we know the sun to be cannot be meant here. It cannot be this. It has to mean something else. And it represents the system of duality. He created duality, meaning he saw that there was light. You understand? The light was there. And from the light, he created darkness. So that's a metaphor for the system of duality. So the first thing he created, he created the basis of the earth was a system of duality that was its primary purpose. So on first day, God created a system of duality. Second day, then God said, "Let there be a space between the waters to separate the waters of the heavens from the waters of the earth." And that is what happened. God made the space to separate the waters of the earth from the waters of the heavens. God called the space sky, and evening passed and morning came, marking the second day. Okay, we have already established in the beginning that water is energy. So what he was trying to do is separate the energy of the heavens to the energy of the earth. He made a separation. He separated. And he created a veil. It's called, some scriptures called a vault between heaven and earth. He created a veil, a separation between heaven, the non-physical energetic world, and the physical world of earth. This is what he did on the second day. First day he created duality, second day he created a separation between the physical world and the spiritual world. Makes sense, doesn't it? Okay, now, then go to the third day. And it's in the third day he created basically the water and dry land and so forth. Now let's get another aspect. Why did God say? Why did the prophet or the master, the enlightened master, say, God said? Again, modern day science. What is a spoken word? The spoken word creates a vibration, and the vibration forms energy into things. So that's just another metaphor for creating vibration. So it's not that he spoke and it was done. No, it is a metaphor for creating a vibration, and this vibration forms the earth. Make sense? And then we continue on the fourth day. God said, "Let lights appear in the sky to separate day from the night," and here He created the source of light, the sun and the moon. So we said already earlier, that's why when it was first on the first day, darkness and light, it was not the same thing. And then He created the fish and the fruits and everything else. And it's all producing all the same thing. Now, then on the fifth day, was it the fifth day? Oh, it was the sixth day, I think. Yeah. He created man. And God created the human beings. And God said, "Let us make human beings in our image to be like us." That's just, this sentence is already a video all by itself, and we will make one. And when we relate and how human beings relate to God and who we are in relationship to God. So, but again, it's all the same process. And now, why did the writers here create days? Day 1, day 2, day 3. Why didn't you say, "Oh, he said this and created this, and in the end, everything was done"? I think it's to indicate to us that there was a process. And in particular, a linear process. First the earth, and then sun and moon, and then the water and the land, and the people and the dirt, one thing after another. But that's a linear process. But in the non-physical spiritual universe, there's quantum physics, quantum processes that are not subject to this linear order. So why was a quantum process created in a linear way? So two processes were merged into one. Why? Because you cannot create a linear earth, a linear society, or a linear life concept in purely multidimensional ways. It doesn't work. So you have to combine it, because you created two places, and there are two different physics that apply, and so that's why we had to slowly go into the non-physical. From non-physical to physical, from quantum dynamics, quantum physics, to linear physics, or Newtonian physics. Now the next question arises, why did God need to rest on the seventh day? Now, I'm not really sure why this is, but I believe because everything is done in balance and harmony. So when you create something, you work, you need to have rest. It's just the earth itself is in the wintertime, most of the earth is resting in the cold. Everything goes to sleep. And you do hibernation, the trees lose their leaves, and the bears go into hibernation, other animals too, and everything slows down. And in the spring, everything comes back to life. It's a cycle between work and rest. So that is, and God blessed doing nothing. So because the concept is we create from nothing into beingness. Everything that is created didn't exist at some time, so it came out of nothing. So the creation process is done through vibration, through thought, through speaking, through emotion, not necessarily through work. So I think that was the emphasis on the seventh day, that we focus on beingness, to looking after ourselves, loving ourselves, and taking care of ourselves, so we're ready to work. Harmony, balance, and it was blessed. God did not bless any other day. He blessed the day that nothing was done. So this should stand for something. But anyway, now we can see that these ancient masters, the prophets, 5, 6, 7,000 years ago, had already the knowledge and the understanding what we scientifically have today. But they just didn't have the language that we have today. It was much more limited and primitive to express their knowledge. So there we have it. This knowledge is valid. It's just a little outdated. We just need to modernize it a little bit. And we're right there. And that is exciting today, that we can bridge modern science with ancient wisdom. And we find out that it's one and the same. So, thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned for more exciting content.